is classic bodybuilding? It's an attempt to replicate the physiques of the golden age of professional bodybuilding. From the early days of pros like Larry Scott to the late 1980s when Lee Haney and I dominated the IFBB. It represents a time when symmetry, proportion, flow, and actual beauty was rewarded, physiques that men wanted to have and women loved to see. What's the difference between classic bodybuilding and today? Bodybuilding today centers around one thing: mass. If you're big and even somewhat lean, chances are you'll get pretty far in this sport. The golden era of bodybuilding, however, was centered around the marriage of size, proportion, and flow that can only be achieved by the molding of specific body parts to match one another. While today's pros may be looking to have the biggest possible arms or freaky delts that overpower the rest of their physique, classic bodybuilders use an actual mathematical formula known as the golden ratio, which was based on ancient statues of Greek gods that tied each body part into the next. From things like having your calves and bicep match each other in circumferences, to keeping your waist to no more than 70% as wide as your chest. Each body part is meant to be chiseled, carved, and formed much in the same way Michelangelo turned a solid block of marble into a work of art. Now I'm going to demonstrate some of my favorite exercises to build a classic physique. First one I'm going to try now is the incline press. Now, when building your chest, you want to build the upper part of your pecs a lot more than, say, the middle part by doing a lot of bench presses, which can give you like a droopy chest. So in a classic physique, you want to have your chest lifted high so that you have this wide upper torso to a smaller waist. So inclines are my favorite to start when I do chest. Now, when doing the incline press, you don't need to go all the way down where the bar hits your chest, because you're actually going to cause a lot of stress onto the delts or onto the shoulder joints. So you want to go just parallel so that your arms are basically straight across, so that you have maybe about 2 or 3 inches or 4 inches above your chest when doing the movement. And in a controlled fashion, will basically lift and develop more the upper part of your pecs. You want to push your chest out, bring your shoulder blades in so that your chest is out and your shoulders are back when doing the movement. The next exercise I'm going to do to build the classic physique is drag curls. This was a favorite for Sergio Oliva, who had these really wide arms. This really just gets the arms a lot wider, so you get this width in the center more than just the peak. So it's a great exercise, and what you're doing, as it's explained, it's a drag curl. You drag it up your body. Granted, it gives you a really great burn in the biceps, and you want to do this movement just by constantly going up and down and not stopping, so it'll just keep constant tension on the biceps. To build a classic physique, you want to build width. Width is really important. The wider your back is and the smaller your waist is what's going to give you that great symmetry that you want to achieve through classic bodybuilding. Here's a great exercise. It's a modern day machine, but what it does is it simulates the same effect as a wide grip pull down or a wide grip pull up. So I like doing it because it keeps me very strict in the movement. Coming down, squeezing the lats. In doing this movement, a wide grip pull down, a wide grip pull up, what you want to make sure of, especially in this machine, is you don't want to go back, because when you go back in the movement, a lot of guys do this when they go heavier and heavier. What it's going to do, it's not going to really squeeze or build up the width of the back. It's going to build more of the center part of your back instead. So you want to make sure, and that's why I use this machine. It really keeps you strict in the movement so that you're up and down, and you're pulling down and you're working just the lats. In building a classic physique, you want to build a well-rounded shoulder. And when you do this, you want to work the front, the side, and the rear. A lot of guys of today avoid the rear delts and work just the front and the sides to look really wide, but then when you looked at them from the side, they have no rear delt development. This is a great exercise called the incline rear lateral. In this movement, when you do this movement, you're basically focusing on the rear delts, and it's a lost movement. A lot of people don't use because they use machines. I prefer the weights. I think it works a lot better. And when you do this movement, you have to make sure that you're turning your wrists so that you're not going back in the movement, but actually throwing the weights forward. So that when you're throwing the weights out, you can actually see your thumbs when you're looking to the side. So let me demonstrate. Again, a great exercise to focus on the rear delts, so from the side your delts look wide, not just come out when you look from the front. Now, with the many leg machines that are available today, here's a forgotten exercise that we used during the classic era. It's called the Jefferson Squat. Jefferson Squat works the teardrop and inner thigh. Great exercise to do to finish off your workout. I know today's pros like Kai Green, one of the few that still uses this exercise, but I used this during my days when I got ready for a competition. What you got to do is you have to have the bar in between your legs, and you're going to grab your hands, over grip and under grip on this thing, on the bar. Come up between your legs. Now you do this exercise, you want to grab it going one way, using one arm, your left arm in the front, your right arm in the back, and then switching, doing the other way. It just develops both legs evenly when you do it that way. A great exercise to build a classic physique or pullover press to really get great size and shape on the triceps. This is, again, is a really well-forgotten exercise because of the amount of machines that are available to work the tricep. But I feel this is great, as I said, to not only build nice shape, stretch, and mass on the tricep. So let's do it. In doing that movement, you see it's a combination of a close grip bench and a tricep extension stretch. So you're getting a combination of doing a thickness exercise and also elongating your tricep to get a good stretch. Give it a try. You'll love it for your triceps. In my experience of building a classic physique, I had to overcome having a much, say, wider waist and narrow shoulders to get the effect or the illusion of having a very wide shoulder and very small waist. Now, when I lifted, I could went very much heavier in one of my competitions where I got into the mid 220s to 230s, and what happened, it started to get my obliques thicker, which the judges frowned upon during that era, which today I probably could have came up to 240, 250, but to keep that physique where my waist was very small, I had to stop doing exercises like heavy deadlifts, heavy squats, and focus on width exercises to work the back, lateral exercises to work more the side delt, very little exercises for abdominals, mostly high repetitions, and for legs, flaring out the legs, doing a lot of movements to build out the outer sweep. So in building that classic physique during my time, I had to build that illusion, and that's what classic bodybuilding is. It's all an illusion.